Welcome to Moms of the Lou podcast, hosted by and recorded for St. Louis moms. Grab your laundry basket, kick your feet up for nap time, or head out the door for pickup and spend a little time catching up with your favorite St. Louis moms. Hosted by a fellow St. Louis mom, Rebecca Coast, let's dive into our discussion today. All right, St. Louis moms, we are back for another episode of Moms of the Lou. I am so excited today to be joined by an awesome St. Louis mom, good friend of mine, the lovely Katy Ferguson. Welcome, Katy.
Hi, I'm so glad to be here. Thank you so much for asking me to come on.
You are so welcome. So Katy is kind of a jack of all trades. You will know her as Strong as a Mother on Instagram. So Katy, tell us about Strong as a Mother. What have you got going on?
Yeah, so Strong as a Mother offers a lot of different things. And honestly, this was started in 2020. So I started this Instagram page in 2020 when the world shut down. And I had she was 3-year-old and a 5-month-old at home.
Free.
And I was in that postpartum phase. And I just wanted to show moms that there are things you can do at home to work out and help with nutrition. And I was a teacher, so I taught kindergarten for 7 years, had my master's in education, and I was like, here's some fun educational activities you can do with your kids at home too. So it was a mix of motherhood, nutrition, and fitness and what that looks like in a daily life. So I was actually looking back at some videos the other day, and I had a picture of my son who was 6 months old at the time, who wasn't napping or in this nap regression or something. And I was trying to record a workout and I had him strapped to me in a baby carrier, doing squats with him. And I was like, this is real life. This is real life motherhood. Your workouts aren't going to be perfect. They're not going to be, you're not, every meal is not going to be a chef's meal. This is, except maybe for you. But this is real life. This is what it looks like. And so I just wanted to bring that while I knew a lot of other moms were kind of feeling the same thing at home. Gyms were shut down, everything was happening. So that's how Strong as a Mother started. And again, I just wanted to empower people. So today, Strong as a Mother offers lots of different things. We have a local fitness group called Strong Her Every Day. And the mission behind that is to empower women through functional fitness and strength training. And so I am really, really a hound on form and technique. And so a lot of moms and women in general come that are afraid to lift because they don't want to hurt themselves, right? There's so many things. They're like, I don't know what to do. I need form and technique. I don't want to hurt myself. And so, they're going to classes where they're lifting 3-pound weights. And I'm like, honey, your kid weighs more than 3 pounds.
Right.
You could lift heavier than that. So It's so fun to show moms and just women in general how strong they are.
Yes.
So form and technique is a huge thing that we do at Strong Her Every Day. Those classes are outdoors. Right now we're actually in a gym, but outdoors all around the St. Louis, kind of Brentwood, Rock Hill, Maplewood area. And then I also offer nutrition coaching. So I'm a certified nutrition coach through Precision Nutrition. And I do macro counting and or intuitive eating. So there's a lot of people that have this, that come to me that have tracked macros and they're like, hey, I have 3 kids. I don't have time to track every single piece of food. And so
it's me. That's me. I've tried tracking my food and I simply cannot.
No, and it's overwhelming. Even the the scan apps where you can just scan it, and I'm like, okay, well, I don't have time to look up what 4 ounces of a cucumber is. You know, I don't have time to do that. And so just more intuitive eating, being mindful. Our bodies are so amazing and know when to stop eating. And if you watch your kids, they will probably intuitively eat. And so we kind of lose that along the way, and we've lost that along the way with diet culture. And so it's cool to be back in tune with our bodies and just reteach ourselves. Eating and all of that thing. So we offer, like I said, Strong Her Every Day and then nutrition coaching. And then I also have an online fitness program that I just launched this year called Build.
Woo-hoo.
And Build is 3 strength workouts a week and 1 bonus Metcon, and there's always kind of a bonus sprinkled in. So this month is some mobility work. Next week we have core cash outs of each workout, just little bonus things. And that is made for women, or I have some guys doing it too, actually, that are like, I have the weights or I have access to a gym. I just need to be told what to do. So it's a progressive overload program that is designed to get you stronger, feel more confident, gain muscle, and feel pretty dang good. So I'm excited about that. So yeah, those are all of the offerings that I have. I also offer like fitness retreats, and those are once a year that I offer where, we go to Scottsdale, Arizona and hike. And so yeah, just lots of different offerings and having fun with it.
So you're basically not busy at all. Just
girl,
you
no.
got all the free time, Katy.
All the free time in the world. Yes. No, well, my youngest will be in kindergarten next year. So I feel like then I'll have.
That is a game changer.
Quote, I know. That's like a new level of parenting unlocked.
Yep.
So we'll see what that looks like.
New level.
Yes.
Well, Katy is also a contributing writer for St. Louis Mom. We love having her on our team. You are a Rock Hill mom.
I am.
Of 2 children.
Yes.
So you've got a rising kindergartner and then a rising
second. She's going to be 3rd grade.
3rd grade.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Grade.
So you're heading into these school-aged years.
Yes.
How's that been?
It's great, honestly. I love it.
Yeah.
Because you're watching this person become who they're going to be. And each day and each year you see more of their personality come out and just them grow. They become more independent, which is a good thing and a bad thing, right? And I feel like these years are just, my husband and I are like, these are the years like that we're going to look back on and be like, this is amazing because we're able to sit on our front porch and watch the kids play in the cul-de-sac and we say that we're raising or putting our kids through a 90s childhood because I don't have like screens or iPads or anything like that. And I'm like, they're playing in the dirt. Yeah, they got to take a bath or a shower every night because they're so dirty. But like we're giving them this childhood that is so fun and explorative and it's great. And they like want to work out with us when we work out in our gym. Like it's fun. It's a good time. So I love it. Yeah. I feel like there's glimpses of like the future with my 8-year-old girl. That's been fun. But
yeah. I know. I admittedly love babies. I've always loved the baby years. But I will say, like with my oldest, the other day we were in the car and like she said something to me and I was like, wow, that was really smart and profound. And now I need to think about that, And so it's so cool, like what you're saying about we're kind of moving into this stage of like, I'm not just keeping you alive, like physically and taking you places, but now we're kind of like living life alongside each other and like talking about things and like observing how she's interpreting the world. It's just, it's a fun thing.
And you get to watch like relive. I feel like I'm like reliving my childhood through their lens too. So I get to just see all the things that they get to see and like be a child, like have a childlike mind again, which is so cool. Which was the awesome thing about teaching kindergarten too, right? So when I taught kindergarten, it was like I just get to be with 5 and 6-year-olds all the time, and they think everything is awesome and everything's exciting. Yeah. And I feel like that's the phase where I'm in with my kids. Like I'm like everything's fun, everything's exciting. I don't want I saw this thing the other day on Instagram that was like, I told my husband about it this morning. I'm like, there was this thing that was like, in 10 years, you're going to wish that your today self would slow down. And I'm like, man, that hit me so hard because my daughter's going to be 18 in 10 years. And she reminded me the other day that, she's halfway to 16 and
of course she did
because she gets to drive and 16 and
oh god,
it was this whole thing. And I was like, man, that's so true. And so we've been really trying to be more purposeful with just slowing life down and not signing up for thousands of sports.
Yes.
And which we're at nothing right now. And it is miraculous and amazing.
I know. We've also taken a more limited approach to activities. And I just think building in bandwidth for them and downtime, and just time to kick the dirt is so important,
Heck yeah.
So
absolutely.
Okay, so you mentioned you were a kindergarten teacher, and you wrote a piece for St. Louis Mom. This has been a couple months now, I think, about your ADHD diagnosis. Yeah. And I know that generated a lot of buzz from people who wanted to connect with you. And so I want to talk a little bit about that diagnosis and kind of how did you get to that point? What were you seeing in your life that led to that diagnosis?
Yeah.
And when it happened?
Yeah. So I was in my 20s. I was a teacher. I had my master's, or I was getting my master's degree. And my husband, I was, we were sitting on the couch. I still remember this exact moment. We were sitting on the couch and I was writing a paper and I kept getting up after like every sentence. And he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm getting up to get some water. I'm taking a break." He's like, "Well, aren't you writing your paper?" I'm like, "Yeah, this is how I write papers. Like, and this is how I write, like, I'm just writing a paper." And he was diagnosed with ADHD as I think he was like 8 years old as a kid. And so he had kind of seen like the signs and symptoms of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's like, I think you might have like ADHD. And I'm like, "No," like, because it just, for me, it looked so different in boys than it does in girls. And I didn't know that. So when I thought of ADHD, I was like, it's hyperactivity. It's people bouncing off the walls. It's like whatever that looks like. It's being disruptive. And I'm like, that's not me. And so he's like, "Well, just look it up." So I Googled, I think that was a thing at a time, Googling or whatever. Ask Jeeves. No, it wasn't that long ago. Okay. So I Googled ADHD in women and I was like shocked. I remember standing in my kitchen in my little like prison cell apartment that I had. And I remember laughing so loud because I had hit every single one. I'm like, isn't this how all people think, though? Isn't this how all people think?
Yeah.
And come to find out, it's not. So I was like, I don't know, like, where do I go from here? So I called my primary care and I went in and I chatted with her. She's like, I'm like, "This is what I know." Again, this was over 10 years ago. I was like, "This is what I know. And this is what my husband told me." And she even asked, she's like, "Did you ever take Adderall in college for fun?" I was like, "No, I'm a rule follower and I didn't." Okay. So I don't know what that feels like.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Okay." And so then she sent me to a psychiatrist, and it was so fascinating how that went down. So I was given a couple of IQ tests and one ADHD test. And the ADHD test was so fascinating. You put these headphones on, you looked at a computer screen, and I don't know, they might do it different now, but there was a number that flashed up on the computer screen, and then there was a number that was set in your headphones. And if the number that was set in your headphones matched the number on the computer screen, then you clicked a mouse.
Okay.
And then if it didn't match, you didn't click the mouse. I was like, "Okay, this is easy enough, right?" So after I was done, I was like, I rocked that. I was like, maybe two. Like there was two where I was like, maybe I didn't get those right.
We're going to have a word from one of our community partners. Are mealtime battles leaving you frustrated and worried about your child's health and nutrition? Meet Bite-Sized Wellness, founded by a board-certified pediatric nurse practitioner who's also navigating motherhood just like you. They transform picky eating challenges into positive food relationships through personalized consultations and practical strategies that actually work for busy families. Their mission isn't just about feeding kids. It's about empowering your family to raise children who are nourished, active, and equipped with healthy habits that last a lifetime. Ready for stress-free mealtimes? Visit bitesizedwellness.com to get started and mention St. Louis Mom for 15% off any service.
So he's like, "So you did not rock it. So I got like, so my IQ was like, I don't know, 120 or whatever it was. And my ADHD IQ was 60. And, being in the education system, you have to have like a 22-point split for you to receive services. So like if you have public education. So if you have, let's say, an IQ of 100, your IQ has to be, or your scores for like a language or speech test has to be below that by 22 points in order to receive services.
Okay.
And so I'm like, oh my gosh, that's more than a 22-point split. Like,
yeah.
And so I was like, so what does this look like for me? And he's like, I'm like, I don't really want to be medicated. Like, I don't want to do that. And he's like, honestly, if you're going on along with life right now, that's great. Keep doing what you're doing. But what's most likely going to happen is as you add layers to your life, you're a single person right now. You don't have a husband. You don't have a house to maintain. You don't have any kids. But he's like, as you add these layers to your life, you're going to feel it more and you're going to see it more. And so I was like, okay. So I took some medication for a while. I messed around with that, which was very eye-opening as well. I found a little dosage that worked for me. And then we started trying to have babies. And so I stopped taking it.
Okay.
And then I gosh, 2 years ago, I knew I was for sure done having babies. And
Mhm.
I was just feeling overwhelmed again. And sure enough, I thought back to the psychiatrist and I'm like, these are all the layers he was talking about, you know?
Mhm.
It's motherhood, it's owning a business now, it's filling out the permission slips of school. It's
It's planning the
reminding,
meals.
yes,
Yes.
it's the birthday kid party present and all that stuff that just kind of the
Mhm.
laundry in the washer that needs to be switched over. Oops, probably should run it again
Yeah.
because it's been there for 2 days.
Mhm.
So it's all of that was just felt extremely no matter what I did. Like moms with ADHD have coping mechanisms. Women with ADHD have coping mechanisms, but those can only went so far for me where I was just feeling like very smothered by life.
Smothered. And what it is an example of like a coping mechanism that
Lots of things. So it's funny because some people don't even realize they're coping mechanisms because it's just how I survived life. And I
Mhm.
didn't know they were coping mechanisms until I started looking them up. So to-do lists for sure.
Mhm.
Writing everything down because you'll forget it,
Mhm.
which sometimes you do forget it anyway because you'll put it in your phone and not on a piece of paper that's in front of you. And so you won't see it. You won't remember to go to the notes tab to look for the note, if that
Mhm.
makes sense.
Yeah.
So lots of alarm setting,
Mhm.
putting things in the exact spot. So my car keys and my purse go in the same spot every single time I get home, or I will forget where they go.
Mhm.
Walking into a room and forgetting why you're there. Um, gosh, so many. Like there's just things that were in my life that, like I said, I didn't know I did because
Mhm.
does that make
Yep.
sense?
Yeah. Totally.
Even like symptoms, like reading an entire page of a book and not remembering what I read. I even remember when I was a teacher, I would like read a whole story to my kids and then be like, and what was the story about? Or like, let's retell it. And I would have to look back at the book because I remembered nothing
Mm.
of what happened in the book.
Yeah.
And so it's just, I'm like, oh, these kindergartners have better comprehension than I do right now.
I feel like that maybe could be said globally though, for not just you, Katie. A lot of us other moms out there too.
For sure, for sure. And that's the thing, like that, it's like ADHD really showed up and was present in motherhood. And when I wrote that article for STL Mom, I had a bunch of moms. I was like, hey, I'm writing this article. And I had a bunch of these community of moms, like people that are listening right now, like reach out to me and share their experience. And it was fascinating. It was so
Mm-hmm.
fascinating to hear. Some moms are like, here, I'm not medicated, but here's how I like deal with it. I wake up before everybody and just make sure my brain is set right to know
Yeah.
what to expect for the day.
Yeah.
Little things can really throw me off, but also little things like I'm so kind of impulsive where little things are cool. So like I love being a mom with ADHD because I'm just like, today's a nice day. Let's go to the zoo. And the kids are like, okay, let's go to the zoo. Or other people have to have this plan and
Yes.
stick to it. And my husband is very much like that, where he is like, has to have this. He's like, what are we doing today? I'm like, I don't know. Wherever the road leads us. He's like, okay, like he doesn't like that.
Yeah.
But it's just, I'm like, let's do it. You can be very impulsive. And
Yeah. Like
yeah.
spontaneous.
Yeah.
I love that.
And I bought my house impulsively, but that turned out well. So
Yeah. So you mentioned going on a low dose of medication 2 years ago.
Mhm.
So how is your ADHD manifesting itself now in motherhood? Like, what does that look like for you today, 2025?
It calms my brain. So there's so many, I guess that's the best way I can describe it. There's so many tabs that I feel like are just open in my brain. If you think like a browser on a thing. And honestly, there's a lot of tabs open in my computer browser now, for being honest, because that's how my brain works.
Yep.
But there's lots of tabs open. And I feel like in motherhood, we always have lots of tabs open. But for a person with ADHD, again, I don't know because I've never had it, but I think never not had ADHD. But a person with ADHD, those tabs are like yelling at you or kind of tapping you all the time. And that's what it feels like. So you're just like, I need to stay focused and the classic example is like you walk into the kitchen to empty the dishwasher and then you take the spatula out and put it in the drawer and then you open the drawer and you're like, oh, this measuring cup doesn't go here. I got to put it in that drawer. And so then And then you're like, you open the measuring cup drawer and there's a pen that your child lost. You're like, I got to go put it in their backpack. And you go put it in their backpack and you realize they didn't do their homework. So you get their homework folder out and you haven't unloaded the dishwasher yet.
Yeah.
And that is kind of how an ADHD brain works. And so when
meanwhile, those other drawers are still open.
Yes, 100%.
That you went for the cup. It's still open because you didn't close it because the cup is not. Yeah.
Those drawers and cabinets are very much still open. And it's just overwhelming. And it's, and it sounds so minuscule where you can just go close the doors, but it manifests so differently. So, so I take, I'm not afraid to share this, but I take a low dose of Adderall. So I take 10 milligrams instant release a day. So I break it in half, take 5 in the morning and 5 in the afternoon. I tried extended release before. That messed with my sleep too much. And so when I went back on Adderall, I told my doctor, I was like, this is what worked for me before having kids. Like, let's try this again. She's like, yeah, that's great. And that's what's worked for me. I haven't had to up it. I've been on it for 2 years. It's exactly what I need. And so when I take it, it just takes all the ping, 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 pings in my brain and just makes me focus on one ping. And it's not that you're like a robot. Like I still have those other things in the background. Like those tabs are still open in my head, but they're just not poking at me the entire time while I'm trying to focus on this task.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes, totally.
And so it really allows me to be more productive, but also be more present, right? So there's so many times that I was with hanging with my kids and I'm like, I need to do, as a business owner, anybody who owns a business, this, there's always things to do. There's always background stuff to do.
Yeah.
And so I'd be constantly thinking about all the things that I need to do as opposed to let's just read this amazing story with my kid or let me hear about her day and not think about what I need to do when I get home. And so for me, it's made me just a better mom, a better wife, a better person, as a business owner, a better coach, trainer.
Yeah.
So I can just be in that moment.
Yeah. What growth have you seen in your life on this journey?
I think I've discovered a little bit of who I am and how I work and really own that. I think all of my jobs leading up to what I do kind of prepped me for that and helped, not helped my ADD or just like kind of, so I was a teacher. I was a kindergarten teacher, right? And so those kids don't have attention spans more than 5-10 minutes, right? Especially at the beginning of the year. It's like,
for sure.
We just gotta, it's like,
what a duo you all were.
Yes. It worked out great. I loved my job and I was really good at my job because I could totally relate to them. I'm like, totally. I'm bored. You're bored. Let's move on to the next thing.
I love it.
I don't expect you to read for 20 minutes because I can't even read for 20 minutes. So let's do this.
I love it.
And so, I've chosen careers or paths that kind of lead this way. And so the cool thing about people with ADHD is that we're so creative and are really out of the box thinkers. Yeah. And so I feel like that's really what led me to this path of starting my own business and working for myself. So I don't work like a 9-to-5, which is, can be hard. And I get to be active for my job, which is really cool. I don't have to sit behind a desk. Like that's really, really hard for people with ADHD to kind of sit and just do. Yeah. So I make my own schedule. I have flexibility in that, which is good and bad. But so I just love what I do. And I feel like, again, my ADHD, like I've kind of just played into that and chosen things that work out for that and my personality. So
last question for you. What word can you leave with a mom who either is on the same path as you, who's been diagnosed, or who suspects maybe this is something she should pursue?
What word?
Like what word of encouragement or?
Okay, I'm thinking of two, so I can't just give you one. Hope, for sure, because there's so many times that you just feel like you're alone in that and that there must be something wrong with you because you're not living up to this person's expectations, or I should feel more motivated to do this. And you're not. And so you're not alone in that journey at all and that feeling. So giving you hope to get to what you need. and definitely persistence.
Mm.
So there's a lot of moms that I chatted with that were put on a different medication for like anxiety or depression when they really had the underlying issue of ADHD.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me personally, I had some anxiety. And then once I treated my ADHD, my anxiety almost went away completely.
Mm.
And so just being persistent with whoever care provider you
Mm-hmm.
have, and maybe seeking second opinions and second options as well. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Katy, you're a rock star. We so appreciate you. And I know so many moms in our community do too. So
Appreciate you. Thanks for having me on.
all right. All right, St. Louis moms. We will catch you on our next episode of Moms of the Lou. Thanks for listening to Moms of the Lou. We hope it encouraged you and put a pep in your step and helped you get to know our community a little bit better. Be sure to find us on Instagram, st.louis_mom. You can find us on Facebook, St. Louis Mom. You can find us on our website, www.stlouismom.com. In case nobody else tells you today, you're a great mom and you're doing a great job. Chat with you next time.